Hi friends, in this video I will be explaining you about what is the difference between do until and do while. In do until there is an expression in enclosed in the parenthesis. The key thing is to remember is that the expression is not evaluated until the bottom of the loop. Therefore do until loop always executes at least once. As soon as the expression is determined to be true, the do lab does not execute. That means the main difference between do loop and do while is that it is going to run up to until certain aggregation or whatever we mention in the parenthesis. And do while, if the expression is valid enclosed in the parenthesis. An important difference between the do until and do while is that do while expression is evaluated at the top of the do loop. If the expression is false the first time it is evaluated, then the do loop doesn't even execute once. So taking an example here, I'm creating this data set, invest in work library, do until capital is more than is equal to 50,000. It means that every year the capital will be increasing by 2000 and the capital plus capital into 10%. So every year is going to have 10% interest rate for this capital every year, and the year plus 1 the output. So what it is going to do is that when you run this code, it will see in the 12th year it's 47,045. In the 13th year, as soon as it reaches above 50,000 it stops. That means it has 13 iteration, and the do until will continue unless it sees the value is equal to or more than 50,000. And for a capital is like 2200, so here is like it should be 4600 4400, but because it is 10%, it is the interest rate is adding in the capital, so it's increasing the capital amount and it's taking the interest along with that. So now we go to do while. The do while is not going to run more than 50,000, because as soon as it sees that the capital, if you put this same here, it's not going to execute. That's why I put for do while it's always less than 50,000. For do while you have to put less than 50,000, and capital plus 2000 here, capital plus capital the same year plus 1. The only difference is that instead of more than 50,000 I put less than 50,000, so as it will run so as soon as it reaches this, if you see here, it executed properly. So as soon as it sees it is above 50,000, it stops. The major difference here is that it has like here only if the capital is less than 50,000. So only difference in until and while is that you have to put the figure less here. Similarly, if you see here, do work invest drop I, do I is equal to 15 until capital is more than 50,000, capital plus 1200, capital plus capital into 10%, here plus 1 output. So let me run. So this stop executing after 15 because we have mentioned here 1 to 15, and so even though we mentioned here until 15,000, but we have mentioned to 1 to 15, that's why. If I had mentioned this here 20, would have gone either by 20 or like more than 15,000. As soon as it touches the 50,000, it's going to stop. See, as soon as it touches 50,000, so it's anyway either 70, either 20 or 50,000, it's going to stop. The other example is do while. Again I mentioned 15 here, and it's going to stop if it completes the 15-year cycle or it reaches 50,000. So the key difference here is that when we are executing the while statement, you have to keep this less than the 50,000, because if it fulfills the condition, it's not going to execute. So you have to keep this less than the target. In until statement, you have to keep this value, whatever value you keep it here, more than the values. So that's the only difference between do while and do until. I hope you like this video and you can share this with your friends. If you have any questions or suggestions, please write it to me. Thank you.